Ja, servus, da ist der Olli von metal.de wieder. Neulich war ein Frozen Soul aus Texas in München unterwegs. Ich habe die Band getroffen und war zusammen mit Chad Green, dem Sänger, im Tourbus. Ich habe mit ihm über Eispistolen gesprochen, über die Unterschiede zwischen USA und Europa, dem Touren mit Freunden, Bolt Thrower, schwedischen Death Metal und natürlich das neue Album oder das aktuelle Album Frozen Soul, Glacial Domination. Hört mal rein, wenn ihr das noch nicht kennt, großartig. Aber vor allem schaut euch die Band live an, die sind richtig krass, gut. Und wenn ihr mehr darüber hören wollt, bleibt dran. After seeing you live at several festivals last year, I can say you did it well on the huge stages.
Thanks,
but what do you prefer, the smaller club gigs or the huge festivals in front of thousands and thousands of people?
I kind of find a way to enjoy them both the same, to be honest with you. I don't prefer one over the other necessarily. Now, it depends how I'm feeling. If I'm not like feeling super good that day, then I might prefer a bigger stage, because that may seem like weird because you're like, you don't feel good, you think you want to play a small stage. But see, the bigger stages, there's a separation between you and the crowd. So I typically, like, if I'm, not feeling good or something, I'd rather play that big stage, give it 110%, and then I can retreat, you know what I mean, without having to go out into the crowd and talk to people and all that stuff. Because when I play a small club, after we're done playing, I don't go up to the green room, or anything like that. I go straight to the crowd and I talk to everybody. So, that takes a lot of energy and a lot of it's a lot of pressure on my throat. So, yeah, it really depends how I'm feeling, but I really get my kicks off of all of it, honestly. Like, I love playing big stages. It was scary as hell playing, stuff like Wacken and, Alcatraz, I think, was the biggest stage we played on that whole festival run, and it was crazy. Like, there were so many people. There was like a sea of people, and it felt crazy to me, and then I love playing floor shows too, I love it all, man. But I think it depends on how I'm feeling,
But are you getting the same way excited playing live? It's like playing live. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if there are just 100 people or 100,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I mean, it also, I think it's weird, man. Like, sometimes when you get used to playing in front of a lot of people and then you play a show, say for instance, like last night we played Italy, right? Well, at first we were a little bummed out, man, because like there wasn't a large ticket sale at that show. Every other show on this tour has come close to or sold out. So like it was at a room that holds like 1,800 people or something crazy, and there was like just like 100 and something people there. But and we have a lot of friends that have told us like that sometimes happens in Italy, but we have a lot of friends and fans there, so we're gonna go play there regardless. But sometimes it can kind of feel like, what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? To where it didn't sell out like the other shows. So, I mean, we still go out there and give it our all. We're still Frozen Soul. We get up there and perform like we do in every other stage. Because if we don't, then we feel like we're not doing ourselves any justice too. But sometimes it's like a hit to your confidence where you feel like maybe you did something wrong or nobody cares about you there or something like that. And you kind of just have to shrug that off and just be like, it doesn't matter, because there's still people there, and those people really care. I mean, they brought us Magic cards and fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they were, they brought stuff for us to sign. They were like super fans, like really good people that like really did love, what we've done. And so we focus on that, whether it's 10 people or 50,000 people, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go in and we're gonna hit that shit as hard as we can.
Can you recognize some differences between North America or Europe?
Yes. One big one is how bands are treated by the venues. I mean, I'm not going to throw too much shade at venues in the States, because we have some good ones, like White Oak Music Hall and stuff like that, where they treat bands really well and whatnot. But like over here, you got full service kitchens inside your venues, and you show up and you've got sandwiches and catering and showers, and stuff like that. And then, later on, 5 p.m. hits, they've got dinner out for you, like a full dinner, man. And like, they don't do anything like that in the States, unless you're an enormous band and you have it on your rider that you have to have dinner. They probably go order it somewhere and bring it in, but like here it's just like, I don't know, it feels like they really want you here, and the venues aren't just like fighting with you constantly about merch cuts as much and stuff. I mean, there was in Italy.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, so we ended up not being able to sell merch at that show. But like, regardless, they still coached for us, and like, they were super happy we were there. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, I don't know, sometimes in the States, when you play music venues, sometimes it feels like, like they're almost like upset that you're playing there. Whereas here it's like they're super excited that you're there, like, and I find that more a thing here than in the States. So that's the big difference. But I mean, there's still a lot of great venues in the States, and there's a lot of venues that we play in the States where they're super happy we're there. But my experience touring over here, which has been less than the United States, is I've had more, I guess more of a home feeling. Whenever you like get it to a venue, they got the little old ladies in the back cooking you food and stuff, and it's just amazing. It feels like they're like welcome home. And that's a big difference between playing music here and playing in the States.
And tonight you're going to use that ice cannon thing again,
yeah,
and shoot all those friendly German people.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna lather them up, dude. Yeah, clump them up, man.
And that's the thing, because since you released Glacial Domination last year, it was the second record in a row with that followed the subjects ice and winter, and it all belongs to the band's name as well, of course. But what must happen that Frozen Soul writes just one song about sunshine and beaches and surfing?
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's crazy, man. Like, our music is not all about the cold. It's not, it's not about the weather, we use little things to talk about, to talk about like real issues like mental health, how it's cold up here. It's cold in here sometimes, and it's cold out there in the real world. It's not just winter all the time, and ice and, ice trays and, and it's snow machines, it's like there's a lot of real world things that are happening, man, that fucking suck for everybody, loss and trying to navigate your feelings when you've lost somebody that you love, that you never thought you were going to lose, having to wake up every day and go to a job that you cannot fucking stand, working for some asshole boss that doesn't care about you and doesn't want you to succeed, just bullies, people that just get off on making your life miserable and stuff. That's what our music is about, it's about dealing with trauma and overcoming that and trying to figure out how to stay alive, because the older you get, the harder it fucking gets, man. It doesn't ever get easier. It just constantly gets harder. And, most of us have those days where you wake up and you're like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore, So our music is about the cold reality and how to stay warm, and that's the truth of it, and sometimes it like objectifies that pain, into a physical being that you can kill kill or you can beat, you know, like you're beating a boss in a video game or something, you know what I mean? Because that's what we do. We manifest those things that terrorize us into things that we could beat, you know, and that's really what it is. But with that being said, you know, it's Frozen Soul, and so we're all fans of bands like Kiss and stuff like that. And some of the funnest and funniest things I've ever encountered in music comes from a band leaning into an image, you know. And so with our name being what it is and us being the goofy people that we are, like, we always try and find funny ways to lean into the Frozen stuff, you know. And I think that's why we've done well, you know, is because you don't have to listen to the lyrics and you don't have to know about the truths and the, like, you know, and the real shit that's behind our music. You could just hear snow and ice and think, what the hell what are they gonna do next? Buy a refrigerator? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you could just think that, and I think, like, everybody, at the end of the day, everybody gets cold in some way, so it works out, you know.
And it's just okay if you are entertained by Frozen Soul's music, I guess. Yeah, isn't it? Because death metal is, for many people, at least for me, just an escape from reality sometimes. Yeah. That's what it meant to be for me. And yeah. You're traveling with some good friends, I heard that. How does it go in?
Man, it's going amazing.
Yeah,
dude, it's going amazing. This is our first headlining tour over here. I mean, we've done some headlining shows over here, but yeah, as far as like this tour goes, this is one of the best tours we've ever done. I mean, it's been super successful. All the shows have been packed. You know, people are, you know, just really loving it, man. Like, you know, I think one of the craziest was basically selling out the Underworld in London, which is like a notorious venue. Like, I've seen videos forever of bands playing there, never thinking I would ever play there, let alone basically selling it out. I mean, it was so packed you couldn't breathe in there. And like, to know, like, we're headlining with our friends, you know, and like, we all did that together, you know, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, dude. We never would have thought that would be the thing, but it's awesome. You know, I've been a fan of Foreseen for a long time, so to bring them along and get them out here touring with us is like fucking a dream come true. And then, you know, you've got Creeping Death. They're from our neighborhood, you know. They're from our state, from our city, and, you know, it's awesome. We haven't ever gotten to tour with Creeping Death before, surprisingly, and so this is our first tour together, and it's been phenomenal. It's been great. So
is this tour a trip full of parties and rock and roll things, or is it more of a hard business trip, and now you can choose the right answer?
I mean, you know, there's a lot of partying going on, you know. You know, I can't say that it's always the best, you know, because some of us and you know, some of us want to party when others want to sleep, and then, you know, and then vice versa. So, you know, it's definitely, I will say though, it's the best Euro tour that we've ever done, because everybody's friends. And so nobody's really getting on anybody's nerves or anything like that. And we're not having to like really like get to know anyone. Like Foreseen, we didn't know them, but it's like we became friends right away. Like they just works out like that. They're just great dudes. And so, I mean, you know, nobody's getting on each other's nerves, and everyone's partying and everyone's respecting each other, and it's fucking awesome.
Was there a really ridiculous moment so far you never wanted to tell anybody, but now you have to? I
mean, I don't think so, honestly. There hasn't been. I mean, I guess I got almost left at a gas station. Almost got left at a gas station in the middle of like Italy or something with like no phone on me. So I don't know what I would have done. I was just like taking a dump, man, and like nobody knew I was in there, and they thought I was in the bus, and I wasn't. And I come running out of the bathroom, and then the fucking bus is driving off, and I'm like, whoa, wait, But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty smooth, man. It's been a lot of fun so far.
On which place on earth did you always wanted to play a show, but you didn't yet expect of the North Pole?
Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Sweden. I have a ton of favorite bands from Sweden, of course, in the death metal world, and we actually get to play Stockholm, so I'm like super happy about that. Never thought I'd ever get to, but I've always wanted to. So that's that and Copenhagen. Those are two places that I never thought I would ever go to in my entire life or be able to, and yeah, we're getting to play them. So
people like to compare Swedish with US death metal.
really,
Are you? Yeah, I guess at least in Europe.
okay.
Are you more a into Swedish death metal or the US?
I'm more into English death metal. I mean, like, now when you're saying English, okay, you're talking about like England, right? Or are you talking about American?
American.
Okay, so, all right, I'm a huge Bolt Thrower fan. So that's why I was like, all right, does he mean England? Is he mean English death metal? I tend to lean more American death metal because, one of my top 5 bands is Obituary. It's where I draw a lot of our influence from. So Obituary and Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that. But huge Bolt Thrower fan. It's one of our main influences, as you probably know. And then surprisingly, what a lot of people don't know is there's a little Finnish death metal in there too, in Sentenced, this band. So it's like we're huge fans of that band's early stuff too. So, but we like Entombed and Dismember and all that stuff too. So, I mean, that all plays a role. And actually, Frozen Soul in the very beginning, we actually were an HM2 band. Like, we had an HM2. We ended up scratching the HM2 before we recorded our demo, but we kind of wrote the songs with an HM2 and whatnot. So there is Swedish influence, but I lean more towards the bands closer to home because they're the bands that like really influenced us, on a realistic level because they're close to home. And so we're like, if they could do it, we could do it, and those are the, watching the Centuries of Torment DVD and stuff like that from Cannibal Corpse 50,000 times. That's what gave us, like, me and Michael a lot of the push to want to like do stuff like this and tour and everything, because we were like watching them go through their real life problems and their real life obstacles and things, and we're like, they're real people. They're real people going through real things. Like, we could do this shit too, So that's really why. But I think if I had that same stuff for some of the bands out here and I would have been exposed to it, it could have easily been, I'm way more influenced by Swedish death metal. It could have been the same, man. They're all good bands,
You sold all your HM2 pedals because nowadays I guess you get about 500 bucks up for them on eBay.
I think Michael's got like a couple of them or something. He's got like the Japanese knockoffs ones and stuff like that. But no, he's still got them. He's not selling them.
Yeah. Okay. So what's up next for you guys? Are you writing some new music already?
Yeah, I mean, we have like a bunch of stuff that we had. We technically wrote more material than we needed for the last record we put out. So we still have some stuff that we're like pretty happy with that we're going to work with and stuff. But yeah, later this year, we're going to be working on the new record. And, we've just got a lot of touring and stuff coming up. We've got a North American tour, which is the biggest tour we've ever been a part of, with Amon Amarth, Cannibal Corpse and Obituary.
Cool.
So we're opening that tour, and we're playing like legendary places in the United States, like the Honda Arena, you know, and Red Rocks in Denver, you know, and like crazy places that like death metal bands don't typically play, you know. So like it's a really big deal because like death metal shows don't happen at these places. So this is the first tour to happen in a lot of these places. So it's pretty crazy. We're pretty stoked about that. And then we've got like the Headbangers boat. It's like a Lamb of God's cruise that they do. It's like 5 days, and we play like multiple sets and stuff throughout that and stuff. So, and we've got some other stuff in the works too, that we're like trying to figure out. Some tours out here and stuff we're trying to figure out if we could do, and stuff like that. But yeah, man, for the most part, I think we're gonna really focus on getting the record ironed out, the next record, because we want to stay putting out new stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we all enjoy writing, so, you know, getting lost in touring is like super easy sometimes because it's like taxing on your body and your mind, you know. So it's like you get too used to just staying gone all the time. You know, it can kind of get harder to sit down and write. So we want to make sure we take that time to like write, you know, and just have fun with music, you know, try some new stuff. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah, dude.
Are you already on fire for the show tonight?
Oh yeah, man, always. I'm a little sleepy right now though, because I just had some amazing food.
Okay.
So I had this like hot pot noodle place earlier. It's like about a few miles from here, and they basically like have you get all of this food and put it in this giant bowl with tongs, and then they weigh it, and then after they weigh it, you pay for it, and then they cook it and put it in the broth and stuff. And me and our sound guy Steve went over there, and I ate way too much food. I didn't even eat like a quarter of it. Like, that's how much food it was. And I was just like, get this stuff away from me. And now I want to take a nap. But there's no time. But yeah, man, I'm fired up, dude. The last time we played Munich, it was awesome, dude. Like, it was like people went off. It was great. So it looks like it's still early tonight, but it looks like the crowd's really starting to show up. So I'm stoked to see what the show ends up turning out to be. You know,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I wish you all the best for you personally, for you, and for the band, and for tonight and the rest of the tour. And
dude,
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's been
sure,
a pleasure, and I hope to see you again.
Yeah, man.
I'm really looking forward to the show. The famous last words are yours.
Okay. Listen to Foreseen. That's my famous last words. Listen to Foreseen. That band is so good. They deserve everyone's attention. Like, the craziest drummer, both their guitar players shred like you've never seen before. They're so good. You know, I could say something about us, yada yada yada, but like, genuinely, I'm in love with that band. They're incredible. They're from Helsinki. They are fucking rippers. Listen to Foreseen.